Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Round Robin. I am your host, Tracy Preston, and with me is Christine Mulligan, Nina Mulligan, Regina Lindsay, and of course, my husband, Todd Preston. Hey, everyone.
Hey. Hi, y'all. Hello.
Hey, everybody.
Tonight, we are missing Angela Sinclair. She just couldn't make it because of a work commitment, but she's with us in spirit, so we'll miss you, girl, but we will see you next week. So in today's episode, we will be discussing the Kevin Bacon story. So here's a little recap. Kevin and many men would use an app called Grindr so they could meet men for a quick hookup for the night. And one night, Kevin used Grindr and got a hit that was close by. That hit was a man named Mark Litunsky. The night that Kevin met up with Mark would be the last night of Kevin's life. After meeting up with Mark, they sat in his van discussing the festivities for the evening. But in order for Kevin to have the best experience of the night, he would have to change out of his clothes and lead them along with his phone in his car before heading to Mark's place for a sex party. The one brilliant thing about Grindr is that it shows the locations of the people that you are speaking to, so you can hook up with the guy who is closest to you. Kevin's roommate received a text from Kevin stating that there were going to be multiple men that night, and it was going to be a very late night or early morning before he would be home. So when Kevin didn't make it to the Christmas morning breakfast with his family, they immediately knew that something was wrong. Thankfully, when police located Kevin's car, the Grindr app was still up and running, and his phone still had battery life to it. When police went to Mark Litunsky's home, he casually invited them in and allowed them to look through the house for Kevin. Well, they found Kevin all right after they cleared the top floor and entered the basement. There they found a door that led to a chamber, and there he was, hanging upside down, blood everywhere. His neck had been cut, and his scrotum had been cut open, and his testicles were missing. When police questioned Mark about this, he said, yep, I killed him. Now, once out at the station, Mark gave a very relaxed description of the night and that it was Kevin who said that he wanted to die and that he wanted Mark to kill him at the end of the night and to stay with him as he didn't want to die alone. So that's what Mark did. He said he and Kevin had sex, laid down together in a chamber, and when it was time, Mark stabbed him in the back of the neck. But to him, he said he felt like Kevin was suffering, so he cut his throat and hung him, then removed his testicles, proceeded to the kitchen, sliced, buttered, salt and peppered, and cooked the testicles, just like he said he promised Kevin he would. Ugh. All right.
It's a bit nutty.
Okay, but I really am so fighting myself for all the jokes. Like, I just want to be like, tasty bacon bits, all the jokes. Because unfortunately, and I do mean this, because it's hard for immature people like myself to stay serious when they hear stories about this. And then you find out that the victim's name was, his last name was Bacon. Bacon is delicious. Bacon, obviously the guy that lured him to the dungeon was a psychomaniac, but there's one part of me that can't fault him for wanting to eat the bacon. I just can't with this story, and it's really just because of his name. Otherwise, this is the most horrific story I think we've even talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is Jeffrey Dahmer level psychopath.
It is crazy.
No, I was just saying it's bananas. You said it's crazy. I said it's bananas.
It's crazy. It's bananas. It's crazy. It's bananas.
It's nuts.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
We're all a bit immature. Damn it. So I did look up a few things about cannibalism. And one of the things that, let's just start with, people have been eating people for thousands of years. Thousands of years. right? So do you guys remember, the football team, which is really soccer team, that their plane crashed in the Andes, and it was 72 days before they were found and rescued? Well, they survived by eating the people that died on the plane. That's how they got through it. In North Korea, there was a famine in 2013. They were eating people. In 1940s in Leningrad and in China during it's called the Great Leap Forward in the 50s and 60s, all of those people were eating humans. In Europe in the 12th century until the 18th century, people were eating humans. They looked at it as, eating the bones, like grinding them up and putting it in with water and drinking the blood and eating the fat. And in fact, royalty even did that to stave off headaches and epilepsy and nosebleeds and gout. Isn't that nuts? But there's one thing on a human that you can't eat, and that's the brain. Did you guys know that?
No.
Well, they just say it's because it makes you go crazy, right? Why can't you eat it?
Right. So there's like this thing called spongiform encephalopathy, also known as mad cow's disease. Right? We talked about that, or you know a little bit about that. And it's called this degenerative brain disorder or prion disease. And here's what's crazy about this prion disease, like this prion protein. It can take up to like years, like 30 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, even 50 years before you start to see the symptoms, which could be like shaking and weakness. And do you guys ever hear of like when people get like really sick and they start laughing uncontrollably, like the laughing disease? That's from like this protein, this prion protein. And then death will come. So it's like they get really weak, shaky, start having a hard time breathing, and then they start like this crazy laugh. I thought that was interesting.
Right. So it's the equivalent of mad cow disease in humans. But why do you say just the brain? Because as far as I know, that's cannibalism as a whole. Like if I eat a baby toe, I'm still eating human cells. I'm still going to get that. I'm still going to go insane. I'm still going to get people mad cow disease.
That's not what I was...
No, I think it's associated with neurological tissue.
Yeah, it's something completely different. It's interesting because, heck, where was it? In New Guinea? I think it's New Guinea. Let me double check that before I say it.
Neurological tissue is in every part of the human body. There are nerves.
Okay, but I'm talking about brain matter and
your head.
Yeah.
So you're talking about gray matter specifically.
Apparently, gray matter or white matter specifically.
Yeah, so there was a group of people in Papua or Papua New Guinea? Papua New Guinea, a group of people called the Four, F-O-R-E, and they would, have rituals of eating their deceased relatives. And they would get serious ramifications from eating, and in that whole ritual, they would also eat the brain. And then it talks about Kuru, K-U-R-U, which is unanimously fatal transmissible spongiform encephalopathy. And then that's where we get into the prion protein in the brain. But they've been, like, legit, people have been eating people forever. Animals eat the same breed of animals, and they've been doing that forever as well. I was trying to find some, because I was, like in the show, Mark Latunsky was a chemist, and I thought, well, maybe he got a little nutty from that, but I was having a really hard time finding any information related to working with chemicals. Did you guys find anything? Did you look for anything like that? Did you have better luck than I did?
Better luck than you did for what? I was asking. I didn't think that it was just brain. I thought it was any kind of same species tissue cause mental disorders.
Yeah, I thought it did too, but from a few different articles that I've read, it specifically comes from eating a human brain is where you could get into issues ritualistically at funerals. It was like an eating party. They'd eat them up, and it was kind of like a way of keeping that person with you as well. I was like, wow, that's kind of crazy. And then another thing that I saw, because they're like, oh, when people hear about cannibalism, they're like completely repulsed and this and that, because yeah, it is repulsive. But they even brought up the fact of like eating your fingernails. People do that. That's a form of cannibalism. And women who eat their placenta, that's cannibalism. And both of those I find completely gross. But
I just feel like the nail biting, that's not, you're not consuming them. You're just really shaving off your nails and spitting them out. I don't know if anybody actually swallows them. But anyway.
But I would also like to point out, though, that we do use it for other things. Like baby foreskin is ground up into moisturizers for like $400 an ounce or some shit like that. And rich people put little baby foreskin underneath their eyes.
That's gross.
So, I mean, I don't know, where do you get that? How do you even get that? I don't even understand that.
I bet you can't get that on Amazon.
How are you ordering that from?
It seems like that would make your eyes baggier, unless you saw something that excited you.
Ba-dum-bum.
Hey, I don't make this stuff up. I literally remember her explaining it because it was Tommy Hilfiger's wife. And she was doing like a walkthrough with Barbara Walters or that other lady with the blonde hair. I can't remember her name. She was going through her routine in her bathroom or whatever. And she specifically picked up this jar and was like cackling about the fact that it had baby penis foreskin on there. I just think that's weird.
Yeah, she's a little cockeyed after that, I'm sure.
This episode is riddled with the jokes.
Can we get back to the facts, please?
Too many. We're too immature. The whole lot of us, we're too goddamn immature for this kind of conversation.
You're right. We are extremely immature for this. All right. I don't know. I was just kind of a little bit bummed because I wasn't finding what I thought I was going to find. Because remember, we even discussed on the show that Mark's face even looked like it was changing. Like I looked him up on LinkedIn and I saw, him sitting at his desk and his face just didn't seem to look as, what's the word I want? Caveman. You know what I mean? Like where they have the big brow and all that kind of stuff. Because when he was arrested, like his face had even changed. And so I, was left wondering, like, could that be from eating human? And guess what else I just thought of? When I was looking up articles, because a lot of countries that have tribes and whatnot, they are eating humans, they're eating pigs, or, whatever they have. And if you think about it, all of their heads have the Cro-Magnon forehead and the extra big cheekbones and chin. So I wonder, maybe they're, you know what? We just need to do a fucking study.
You know what I'm going to say, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to say. They're eating the humans. They're eating the bones. I can't with this whole episode. Chock-full of jokes.
All right. You were about the jokes. We'll talk about science. Regina, what you got?
You're going to ask me.
Yeah, I think Regina gives me a run for my money for the immaturity level. I'm just saying.
Hello?
You're going to talk to her like she's the mature one of the group?
If I'm the voice of reason, we have spiraled way down the rabbit hole.
Come down the rabbit hole.
Sorry, Trace. What do you want to seriously talk about? You want to talk about how he started looking all Cro-Magnon after he had some bacon bits? Is that what you want to talk about?
Yes. I do. Well, what do you want to talk about with this episode? Come on now.
You want to talk about how he went all Cro-Magnon. So there was pictures. I just got to stop the laughter. Okay.
Deep breaths.
I'm a little manly after eating bacon bits, too. I'm just saying. Anyway, I digress. So the picture you have pictures of him before he ate the bacon bits?
Yeah, so, well, I don't know when he started eating, humans. Who knows? I mean, who knows? I mean, he said that he told the police when he was in an interview with them where he laid out the whole story. It's like this 3-hour long YouTube video that you can find on YouTube. And, when you look at him, when you look at his face, like his face has totally changed. So his LinkedIn picture, his face is real like smooth and soft, and he didn't have like a big Cro-Magnon forehead, but he certainly had one when he was arrested. Like his face completely changed to me. I don't know if he went and had injections or what. I doubt it, but I just wonder, does cannibalism change your face? And guess who else was a big cannibal? Jeffrey Dahmer. Mm-hmm. He had the big Cro-Magnon forehead too.
Yeah, we started the conversation out talking about Jeffrey Dahmer, and he did facial change.
Mm-hmm.
That is actually a really good example of he looked like he had a smooth, rounded forehead when he was younger, but as he got older, his forehead got very square.
Mm-hmm.
True story.
And the chin changed, right? He got all boxy looking, and so did Mark Lutunsky. I think I'm onto something here.
I think you are onto something, but I really can't fight the feelings. I have to say this. Is that why straight women are so intrigued by the Cro-Magnon? Because they instinctually know that they want to eat some bits?
You cannot be serious for one moment.
No, but for real, that's an attraction thing. Like, straight women like the manly men, the Cro-Magnon man.
Yeah, because they know they're going to go conk something on the head and bring it in for me to eat.
Yeah. We'll go with that.
Yeah. Oh, God. All right.
Yeah, this episode has been completely derailed. Bing, bong, bing. The more you know about it. Do you have something more serious?
Do I have something more serious? Well, Mark Lutunsky also went a little cuckoo bird, right? So he developed schizophrenia late in life. And, again, I was thinking there's a tie-in. There has to be a tie-in with all the chemicals. But, like we talked about before, when we talked about the Gavin family in Colorado Springs and all those kids and how they developed, they had the genes and then they had trauma. And in that show, it was saying anywhere between, 18 and early to mid-20s is when you would develop it. But, you pointed it out to me that people can develop schizophrenia anytime later in life. So, I don't know. Was the schizophrenia a part of why he became cannibalistic? Because there's certainly psychological issues that make people, or like schizophrenia, eat people.
Maybe it was developed through the cannibalism. It was a byproduct of it.
Right, but if it could be, right? But let's look at all these tribes who've been eating people for centuries. Are they kooky looky? I don't know. I don't know if they got schizophrenic or not. What you got there, hon?
Well, cannibalism is widely also called Wendigo psychosis. It's a psychiatric condition that can cause people to have cannibalistic urges, hallucinations, anxiety, and paranoia. It's also considered a cultural bound syndrome, meaning it's a pattern of mental illness that's unique to a specific cultural group. Wendigo psychosis is thought to be caused by a combination of cultural narratives and psychological vulnerabilities. It can be a way for people to deal with internal distress. The condition was more common among the Algonquin tribes during times of famine and scarcity, but it can also occur in other contexts. Some other symptoms of Wendigo psychosis include delusions of being possessed by an evil spirit, depression, violence, insatiable greed, and destruction of environment. So let me tell you about the Wendigo. So a Wendigo is a mythological cannibalistic monster in the spiritual tradition of North American Algonquin speaking tribes, and it's associated with winter as described either fearsome beast that stalks and eats humans, or its spirit possesses humans, causing them to turn into cannibals. Algonquin tribes were mainly around before the 1500s, before the English settlement, and they slowly died out. And I'm showing Tracy a map right here, right now. Most of the tribes lived in Canada, but especially around the Great Lakes region.
Yeah, Michigan's all lit up.
Yep. So, and I'm not saying this guy had this condition, but it's definitely something to think about. Anyways, I'm going to send you guys a picture right now, too, of Wendigo, just so you can scream at it later.
Well, thank you, hon.
Yeah, we talk about a lot of psychological issues on very many of our podcasts. And the thing that always strikes me, especially because I take classes on this kind of stuff, I kind of feel like there are certain signs and symptoms that are applicable to all mental illness. So I feel like somewhere down the line, somebody smart's going to come along and they're going to say that there's really two main branches of mental illness. And these are all the things and all the bad things that are in agreement in all of them, like trauma and things like that. That's hopefully what will curtail. And we'll have a lot less mental illness in the future, I hope.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, we can hope.
Yeah,
Was this his like first and only kill, or do they suspect him of anything else in the area? Like, I feel like he had a pretty elaborate setup for somebody who was just trying it out for funsies. Like, I feel like that sort of thing would have required a dress rehearsal. I just want to let you know, like, when the boys use Grindr, it isn't to stay. So I don't believe for 2 seconds that they were DMing each other on the Grindr talking about, I want you to eat me in that way where I die. Because, like, the whole goal is to get in, get out. So I just don't believe that at all. And I would think there would be evidence of something like that if you were going to say that. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, from watching the interview with Mark and the police, it was just like, oh, this was a I don't know. You know what, Nina? I don't know where the conversation started to happen when he first met up with Mark. Because I don't know, like, you just chat through Grindr. I mean, I think so. Right?
Yeah, but
and said like text and whatnot.
No,
Yeah.
we're taking Mark's word for it, how the conversation went. I'm pretty sure that Bacon didn't say, you know what, I really want you to eat my nuts.
Exactly.
You know, I'm sure that's not the way he had his night planned out.
Right.
I think we said that. I think we said as much when we did the original podcast. I think one of
the
us.
police had access to and read the messages between the two of them. So clearly they knew that he had not, in that messaging, at least, asked to be murdered.
Right. And I think it came out that, there was chit chat about, multiple men. He wanted to feel afraid and kind of be at auction kind of a thing. I think he was probably up for that. Like, why not? Let's remember the whole Mary Dickmas thing? Oh my God, there's going to be dicks everywhere.
He had a BDSM fetish. And, to be clear, not everybody who's into BDSM is a psycho. But this guy, that's clearly how the conversation started, is over some, BDSM fantasies that Kevin may have had. And then Mark saw his opportunity to lure somebody in. And, part of a lot of BDSM fantasies is being helpless, being tied up. That's not really uncommon in people who practice that. But, again, I think, not that I have any personal point of reference, but I would think that most people would want to know and be comfortable with and trust whoever it was that they were allowing to tie them up.
Right, because that takes a lot of damn trust. And to think that, this rando person that you just are making plans with, and that's a crazy thing to me too, is like, why would you 100% trust a complete stranger? And back to Nina's point, I would probably say that I don't think it was Mark's first time, because he told the police that he had a freezer full of, what does he call them? Mountain oysters? I think that's what he called them, mountain oysters. I got a freezer full of them. Who's to say they're not a bunch of guys' nuts sitting in his freezer? And, right, so 2 months, well,
Well, he had a couple of failed attempts there too, correct?
he sure did, but who's to say there weren't more that didn't get away? Because let's think about the plan, right? He had like a trap door in the bottom of this torture sex chamber that opened up, and underneath of it was dirt. So his plan was, yeah, let all the blood run out of Kevin, and then he's going to take all that dirt with the blood and use it as fertilizer, use other pieces of Kevin's body for fertilizer out in the yard. I mean, this guy's a chemist. He knows what he's doing. So who's to say he didn't get away with it plenty ahead of time, right? Because Jamie, his husband, who at that point they had separated, I don't know if they were divorced yet or not, but he made a comment in an interview that he just couldn't keep up with Mark. What exactly does that mean? Getting as many men as you want? Killing men? I don't know. Maybe he was just working up to it. It's hard to say. I don't know. But it's possible.
Maybe that's why he started with the nuts, just getting going, maybe something small instead of eating the whole human body, maybe it was his trial run, just starting out with a snack.
Well, that's true. And then guess what else? He had ordered a dehydrator. So he's going to, dehydrate Kevin's muscles. And who knows, maybe skin as well. Right? And because the dehydrator popped up and arrived from Amazon or whoever it came from. It was probably Amazon or whoever he ordered it from. But the dehydrator showed up when police had the house taped off as a crime scene. I'm like, oh, there's the dehydrator he was talking about. So who knows? Maybe he was working his way up to it. Maybe he got away with it, right? Because he had the guy that came and visited him from New York. Who's to say there weren't other people coming from out of state? Single gay men.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a setup. He had a way to lure him in. That was definitely trial and error a few times before.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So maybe Kevin was his first. Who knows? There's lots of questions about that. And the schizophrenia, well, what's his butt? Dahmer, he was a schizophrenic, was he not?
Yes, he was.
And we've talked about, other killers who definitely are necrophiliacs and also cannibals. We haven't done lots of shows on them, but other shows in other states and all that kind of stuff, they certainly talk about that quite a bit. It's not uncommon.
It's thankfully uncommon enough that it's crazy batshit crazy.
Well, and then there's also the exotic people burgers.
That was a way of disposing, though.
Yeah, but were they eating their own burgers that they made? Or just making their neighbors do it?
I don't know. I would imagine maybe they
It's
ate
good,
it
right?
too.
You want another?
I got a lot of meat here. Lots of meat. People burgers, mountain oysters.
It's gonna make what? Human jerky? Like, what the fuck are you buying it
Yes.
for?
He was gonna make man jerky.
Yep.
Yep.
Gross.
It'll last longer. It won't get freezer burnt.
That sounds so gross.
Oh my
I just
god.
can't with these people. I just can't with. I don't understand this. Do we know if he was dropped on his head? Was there a head injury? Because I get it. He had a head injury.
He was just huffing paint fumes or chemical fumes or something.
Yeah, I still want to tie it back to all the chemicals he was dealing with.
Which is plausible. Anoxic states are no joke.
Well, and right, just like we talked about, and I don't remember what show, but I know we brought it up about, kids doing drugs. All of a sudden, like, let's say you're dropping acid and you bing, you kind of went out to crazy land and then you get schizophrenia. I was even reading that smoking pot can make you get schizophrenia.
What?
Yeah, it was in one of the articles.
Has anyone told Willie Nelson that?
That just makes you paranoid.
Hey, Willie's still rocking it at like 100 years old.
Marijuana just got lumped in with all other drugs, which
Just cracks me up. It's like, it's a gateway drug, but Willie Nelson's been smoking that shit literally longer than I've been alive. And he's
still doing
to the best
concerts.
of my knowledge,
Well, you
just
need
a
to find
pothead.
out if Willie's got a dehydrator.
Yeah, but
he uses his for weed.
he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't have the Cro-Magnon head though. So I don't think Willie's eating people.
No.
So that's, you know what, that's a takeaway from tonight's show. Everyone, stay away from any man who has Cro-Magnon forehead.
Well, shit. I'm in trouble then.
Noted.
Warning. And I also came across an article about broccoli sprout compounds may restore brain chemistry imbalance linked to schizophrenia.
really.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, that's interesting.
What's a broccoli sprout? A tiny broccoli?
I think it's like when you.
Broccoli?
I think
A
it's.
tiny magic tree?
It has like this little girl with a picture of it. Damn it! Now I just lost the article. But yeah, there's something to do with the broccoli sprouts as they're growing. So it's not, you know what I mean? They're sprouts. So like a bean sprout's kind of what it looked like in this little dish that this little girl was holding. But there's something to do with the compounds in that. But yeah, so I just found that really interesting. So keep an eye out for
Baby broccoli.
baby broccoli. It's good for you. Eat it.
Magic.
Eat it and eat it a lot.
You're not a fan of broccoli?
Not really.
And put some cheese on it.
Thanks, Mom.
Cheese makes everything better.
I mean, I'll eat it. I'll eat it with cheese and stuff like that, but it's just not my favorite thing.
Oh, I love it.
Oh.
I love broccoli. I love it.
Also, she's not going to become schizophrenic, y'all. Just
I love the way it feels. What? Yeah.
Wait, raw or steamed?
Ever rubbed the head of broccoli?
What are we talking about here?
I'm talking about broccoli. You want to make sure it's fresh. Have you ever picked up a fresh broccoli head? It's not. Yeah. I'm just saying.
I never rubbed it on myself, though.
I'm not saying my body.
Wait,
Like,
wait, you just.
I might have put it to my cheek.
I have a storyline.
Oh, broccoli.
You guys went food shopping, and Nina picked out some beautiful broccoli. And then you're unpacking the bags, and you can't find Nina
She's stuck in
or the broccoli.
fondling the broccoli.
She-
My broccoli.
Oh, my God.
That's not even right. I'm sorry. That's not right at all. And that just.
Well, I love the fact that we've come to learn during this podcast that broccoli sprouts will save the penumbra.
Yeah.
And that is your favorite word.
I buy broccoli. You know? It's a safe bet.
You're not going to
So
get pegged by
I think the moral of this entire podcast this evening is that broccoli is the winner.
Yes.
Broccoli
Yep.
is the hero.
The takeaway is eat broccoli, not brains.
Eat broccoli, not brains.
and not balls.
Or ball. We got to say that again. Eat broccoli, not brains, and not balls. It's the triple B.
Wait, buy the bacon bits.
Broccoli, bacon, balls.
Pass on the pulled pork.
And that is the key
If
takeaway.
your grinder date tells you he's waiting on his food dehydrator to show up, you should run.
I heard about those dehydrators. I'm out.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make fruit leather. I might be on a list somewhere with FBI.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
browsing. I was browsing for them a while back.
Were you?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh my God. To make fruit leather.
No.
That's what she says now, y'all.
Well, We have derailed, Tracy. I apologize.
That's okay. That's what we do.
You know, we can't be serious about something like this
Yeah.
warped. You know, that's just the nurse coping mechanism, and we dragged everyone else along with that.
Just going to say, Regina, we literally just dragged everybody down the sick, twisted humor of nurses. How you can take such a horrible subject and make a million jokes about it and laugh your ass off.
We have to.
You have to make it through your day.
I think we need to make a jingle about this round robin. Should be round robin, yum.
Todd loves round robin.
I love round robin.
That was like what do they call that? When all the people run around the bases?
Home run?
Oh my God.
The grand slam. It's just like one right after the other. I'm tired.
It's a grand slam.
Grand slam.
I'm going to have my pee-pee dance.
No, that's Denny's. Denny's has got the grand slam.
Not the Denny's grand slam. That one has base. You know.
Just saying. I don't think we can be serious, damn it.
I don't think we can recover from this. I'm sorry.
Tomorrow's a stressful day.
The whole U.S. is waiting for the results of their STD test.
I thought it was a gender reveal. I hope it's a girl.
You know, an episode of Jerry Springer.
Yeah. I'd love to dive into that conversation, but we can't go there.
Yeah, we cannot.
We cannot go there.
Yeah, we cannot.
Cannot.
And in fact, you probably need to edit most of that out.
No, I think I'm going to leave that in. I just don't want to dive any more political stuff.
Because, you know, it's the great Hannibal Lecter. He does the great things for this country. He's a brilliant man.
He's a cannibal. He's a cannibal. It ties in.
Oh my God, look what you
And
did.
you know, he did. There was video of him being very jittery trying to open a car door earlier, just saying.
He literally sat in front of his audience today and said, you know, if it wasn't for you fuckers, I'd be at home sleeping. I mean, he didn't quite say it like that, but that's the vibe. He was literally like jeering his own people that paid to be there, like, oh, you want me to go the full hour? I could have banged this out in 30 minutes, and then, you know, I could have said Trump, make America great like 6 times, and we could have been done with this. But you know, you want me out here. I gotta be here, so here I am. Like, that's what to his constituents. Great.
Yeah, well,
These fuckers still just eat it up.
yeah.
That's crazy. I can't wrap my head around it.
You know, Einstein said the difference between genius and stupidity is that genius has its limits.
Yeah.
Einstein was a smart fella.
He sure was. I bet Einstein ate a lot of broccoli.
Yeah.
I bet he did.
And no balls.
No balls.
And no brains.
It was Einstein's wife that did most of his mathematics for him, but she wasn't allowed to get a degree, even though she made it all the way through until 1 month before graduation. And then they told her because she was a woman that she could not graduate. So actually, Einstein wasn't quite as brilliant as he thought he was, because his wife actually surpassed him in all of the tests.
Really?
Behind every great man is a great woman, giving him all the answers.
We were talking about IQ tests on that podcast, too. And this guy's 128 or whatever, or 120-something IQ.
Mark Latinsky's IQ is quite high. I think he was only 40 points lower than Einstein, and
He's only 20 points lower than me.
I say 120 is not high.
It was like 129 or 130. It is high.
It is
Anything
high.
over 100 is considered high, but
Who says?
Einstein, that's the
Mensa.
scale.
No.
Einstein was 160. Bill Clinton was in the 140s or 150s.
Stephen Hawking's was
yeah.
160.
Was 160.
And 100 is really low because my IQ is high, and
Well, you know, the thing is that it doesn't really mean how smart you are, it just means how quickly you can pick up on things, maybe. You
My
know,
IQ is high as shit, man.
your potential to learn things and not necessarily
Apply.
how much. Yeah.
Actually, I was just going to say, it really is actually about application. Not just to understand it, but to be able to apply it is what makes one genius.
Yeah.
Not the actual knowing of facts does not make you smart. It's the application
Right.
of them.
Right. Well, I wonder if they've changed the IQ scale, because when I was researching all that crap with this show for the IQ, there's a couple guys, I want to say in China or Japan, but their IQ is like 300 and over 300. That's nuts. But
So now it says the high IQ is over 130 or is 130.
Really? That actually genuinely surprises me.
Yeah.
Like, what's the maximum number?
I
Like
thought
a
it
credit
was
score.
180. I thought it was 180.
Then
but I
how
could
can
be wrong.
somebody have 300?
Yeah, I don't know.
he tipped the
Well, they
scales.
That mathematics equation like in New Orleans. So
There's no limit to IQ scores. 200 is often seen as the theoretical peak score. But
Okay.
some people have shot past that number. Highest level IQ recorded is estimated to be between 250 and 300.
I don't want to have a conversation with those people. They'll be too smart for me.
Not
Yeah.
necessarily. My step monster is a member of Mensa,
Mm-hmm.
and she kind of bullied me into taking the test when I was a teenager because I honestly don't know what the motivation was, whether it was an attempt to prove that I wasn't as smart as everybody said I was, or what the deal was, right? But so I take the test. The first part of it you take, and it's proctored by a member, and it's timed. So I sat down in their kitchen and I took the test and nailed it off, and I scored higher than she did. But then she said, "Oh, well, that's great. When are you going to take the formal test?" I said, "I'm not." She says, "Well, why not?" And I was like, "Well, for one thing, it was like taking the SATs where you have to write your name, one letter in each little box."
Mm-hmm.
And so I did that. Well, when they mailed me the letter to take the test, they spelled my name wrong. Like, if they can't copy it down the way that I wrote it, then they're not particularly smart either. And I don't feel like I need to be part of that group.
I was in Mensa when I was a kid, Regina, and it was really fun at first because you would go on trips and you would be in big rooms and you just do puzzles all day. And I used to love all different kinds of puzzles. You just do that all fucking
I was the maze person. That was my thing. But yeah, I totally get it. I just for me at that point in my life, I was I really was kind of just thumbing my nose at her by refusing to go take the test, the formal one. Yeah, I get that part. But there are also a lot of Mensa
after a while
out in the world who are homeless.
This one time at Mensa camp,
yeah, right. I could say that. It was really boring. And at some point in my life, I was like, holy shit, I'm just sitting there being studied like an animal in the zoo.
Like a lab rat.
Yeah.
Really?
It's fucking crazy bonkers.
Yeah.
And
And there are a lot of members of Mensa who are homeless because not everybody with a high IQ copes very well.
They don't have any
Yeah.
common sense, right?
Is
I have a lot of
we
common
tend to be
sense.
a little awkward.
that was right. And that was another thing. I couldn't even really communicate with most of the people in my classes, actually communicate, but deal with them.
Your peers.
Because they were awkward as fuck. Always felt like I never fit in with them. I was like, I do not fit with you fuckers.
very mean girl of you.
It was kind of, and I didn't like it.
Well, and it's because a lot of them don't, let's be honest, a lot of them are somewhat on the spectrum too, but some people with very high IQs are just so far in their head that their social skills
I would
suffer.
agree. I think more often than not, speaking as someone who spent the greater part of her childhood around them, I want to say that everyone that I can remember, I would now say they were most likely on the spectrum. Do you know what I mean? Everyone around me, looking back at their mannerisms, their quirks, knowing what I know now as an adult, I can look back and remember my friends and be like, oh yeah, no. There's this, they're over here, this one's over there. You know what I mean? Like, I can remember, I can recall, and I can, with almost 90% certainty, tell you that everyone that I was in classes with when I was in elementary school, all throughout elementary school, they're all on the spectrum. Me included, I was probably.
I was going to say, we're probably also both on the spectrum.
Yeah.
To say.
Yeah.
Most likely to eat some nuts.
No.
No.
Not anymore.
The least likely possible. Absolutely.
No nuts,
Not.
please.
Yeah.
I don't even like crunchy peanut butter.
I do like crunchy peanut butter, but there won't be no bacon bits in my near future.
No bacon bits.
No bacon bits.
Well, I mean, if anybody would be the closest to the culture of eating balls, it would be Regina. She's all up in Texas, and they eat balls all the time down there. They have like a whole festival for it.
What are you
Do we?
doing?
You have a ball festival in Texas?
I've lived here my entire life, and I have never heard of that.
Yeah.
What
They
are you
have, like,
talking
a
about?
whole festival where they eat like the penis and the balls of bulls.
What are you
Yes, I saw it on like TLC. It was like
TLC.
weird things to do in places you never expected or some stupid weird shit like that. And he went to a thing where they fry up balls.
Rocky
And
Mountain
they-
oysters.
Yes, and they eat the penis.
I think you might have mean in the Rocky Mountains. They eat Rocky Mountain
No,
oysters.
there is some down in Texas too.
I don't know about any of that.
I thought it was. I don't know.
And we have a Texan on
Because
the
it
line
was-
that knows nothing about that. Shush.
Maybe it's not.
Well, it doesn't mean that I know, everything that takes place in the state,
Yeah,
but
exactly. They
Regina,
eat rattlesnakes down there.
I
too.
just,
I gotta
Pardon?
Google it.
Todd's gonna be our Google king.
well, yes, there are people down here that eat rattlesnakes. That I'll give you that.
I see stuff on TV. I got smart real good.
That's real good. Is that northern Texas where they eat the balls?
The rattlesnake? Oh, no, I lived in North Texas too, although we don't talk about that in polite company.
Todd's Googling it as fast as his thumbs will type.
It says yes, people in Texas eat animal testicles, also known as Rocky Mountain oysters, and some places in Texas host festivals where people can eat them.
Look at you, Nina.
It's the Texas Testicle Festival.
It's the Texas Testicle Festival. What part of Texas, hon?
Deep in the heart of Texas. I don't know. It doesn't say. Oh, here we go.
Wait. He's got it.
Fredericksburg.
Fredericksburg.
Really?
Yep.
Yep.
I've been to Fredericksburg like 1,000 times, and I have never, ever seen the Testicle Festival.
Well, you missed the Texas Testicle Festival.
And that's a German town.
Oh, they even have a competition. See how many balls you can get down.
It's kind of like going to Frankenmuth for those of you without
Yes.
the Christmas theme.
Gotcha. It's
It's a very, there's always German festival going on, and every restaurant serves German food.
The Big Texan is a restaurant in Amarillo, and they serve testicles.
Okay, Amarillo is barely even Texas.
oh wait, there's
Wait.
more.
And that's like way up in the Panhandle. It's almost New Mexico.
They also sell bull penis in the grocery store in Austin.
That's a music capital, isn't it?
I almost seem to have missed that. Well, I mean, the motto of Austin is "Keep Austin Weird." So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised by anything they sold in the grocery store, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and people say that testicles are chewy, and it takes an acquired taste.
oh, you guys are making me sick now. Oh,
Similar to veal
It's,
Oh, I'm done with the testicle eating. Oh.
and chewy.
they're chewy.
Sorry, I never wanted to work that hard at acquiring a taste for anything.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Either
I
you,
mean, I either like it or I don't like it, and I'm not going to like if I don't like it, eat 10 more to see if I decide I like it later on.
We're going to cook it
happen.
again for you tomorrow.
So Nina was spot on with the testicle festivals.
Nina knew about the Testicle Festival.
She would. She knows the weird shit.
She
You
does.
know why? She knows all the weird shit.
Do anything for me in my life other than be able to have a good story at a party. About the
Hey, babe, do me a favor. Don't be telling stories about the testicle festival at the party. Ever.
Lock it up.
Lock it up. As Tracy likes to say to me all the time when we're in public together, lock it up.
What if someone asked me, hey, get some deep fried testicles? That would be like at the testicle festival.
Somebody's going to say, has anybody ate any testicles before? And Nina's going to go, oh, I wish I could say something, but I can't.
I'm tapping out. I've had enough of having testicles.
Ay, Dios mío.
All right. So on that note, we're going to wrap up the testicle show. Oh, God, that was good. That went in some fun directions, guys.
Oh, was he actually gay? The killer.
Yes, he was. He
Yes.
was gay, right? So
Oh.
he was married.
Or bi.
Yeah,
He was married to a woman for a long time. It never said that he decided he was, not interested in women, but he definitely was after men
Yeah, he was
once he and his wife separated.
cooking the bowl.
Well, I get that. I just thought maybe he chose that avenue of victim because of the culture of the app. Whereas like most women from an app would not go to a man's house first off the get.
Are you saying
You know,
like an appetizer?
Oh, we are not mature enough for this whole story.
go sit down in the corner.
Okay, well,
Go sit down with your broccoli.
Sorry, I was just gonna do a PSA for the gay boys out there. Like, you could get eaten, like literally. So be careful who you're meeting.
Right. And not in a good way.
Yeah, not in a fun way.
yeah.
That's what I'm
Not
saying.
in a fun way.
You know, like have your wits about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah,
Be careful.
I do. I have a lot of friends that use the Grindr app, and I always say to them, please be careful. Especially because I have a bestie like Tracy that tells me about murderous things all the time. So when I'm with my other friends, I'm worried that they're going to get murdered.
Exactly. Meet in a public place. Damn it. Go hit it in the bathroom, but be in public.
Yeah, don't go to people's houses. Stop it. This is 2024. We don't do that.
We don't do that shit anymore.
Well, and share your location with at least one friend. Don't
Egg.
leave your phone in the back seat of the car with your clothes.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, everybody. Well, let's wrap it up. That was a fun episode.
It's Native American Heritage Month.
Happy Native
It
American
is.
Heritage Month.
If you guys went
Thank
to the
you.
You're
Facebook
welcome.
page, you would see that
So what do you
Malice.
guys think about
I've
Thanksgiving?
seen it.
Are you ready to
She
give it
seen
up?
it. Give up what?
Thanksgiving. Like we were having a conversation. Like I feel like we just skip over Thanksgiving now. We go the day after Halloween. I got people putting out wreaths for Christmas.
I like Thanksgiving.
And then she was like,
I like
well,
the order.
it's kind of like the pilgrim thing, and people aren't really into that anymore. I was like, yeah, but
Yeah.
I feel like we've kind of like so Americanized it and like commercialized it that original meaning like doesn't apply.
But the thing is I
I'm just
feel like we
asking,
should
just to ask.
re-educate to that, though. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like eventually the generations will get to a point where we'll reinvent the meaning of
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, where Thanksgiving is literally for gratitude and for loved ones and more back
like
to
pre-Christmas.
Indian, Native American values. Like, make it more about Native American values and less about the fact that we whitewashed North America.
There we
Yeah.
go. Let's bring it back.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's kind of disgusting.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting to that level of old ladiness where I'm just like, you know what?
I'm not nearly as offended by Thanksgiving traditions as I am by, Columbus Day. How exactly does one discover a continent that has people already fucking living on it?
Yeah, but do we really?
True.
You didn't discover anything. It's just we're celebrating the first dude that got lost and wouldn't stop and ask for fucking directions.
Yeah, we're calling the first dude that came over with a narcissistic ideation of himself.
He wasn't the
And
first
decided
European
that
either.
He discovered something.
Well, he didn't even really discover America. He discovered Colombia, which is why.
Correct.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
actually, Magellan found it before anybody else, but he didn't have enough sponsorship to get him written in as the first one. So
Yeah, but he
Vikings
wasn't the
did.
first one. That's the fucking point.
The Vikings
Yeah.
did.
The Vikings did.
The Vikings were the first Europeans to come over.
And on that note, if I don't end this episode now, it's never going to end. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for coming back and listening. We really appreciate you. So have a great week, everyone, and we will see you back next Monday for Malice in the Mitten. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.
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 Yum.